This is Clothoria, a magical golf oasis.
All right, demonstration time. You've seen the podcast. You've seen us kind of talk about some of these things. We got 3 different camera angles. We're just trying to kind of give you the best kind of demonstrations of some of the things we've talked about already in the podcast. So Jonathan's going to kind of just walk us through 3 different grip types, like the 3 and the 3, right?
Yep. So first with the wheat grip, so lead hand, thumb, approximately like 12 o'clock here, okay? And like we've said too, for a wheat grip, it's a little bit more like up into your palm, opposed to with a like neutral grip, it's going to be down towards your fingers a little bit more, and then for a strong grip, it's going to be most in your fingers because of how much more the hand's going to turn over the club.
Got it. Like the pinky on top of the club, like we were saying.
So when you get more of that lead hand, thumb on top, again, it's more, again, up here into your palm pad. And then with the trail hand, we're basically getting the V going towards like your trail ear, okay? So that would be my wheat grip,
Okay.
Now when I take the club back, if I set up here, so in the takeaway, when we start the club back for a wheat grip, the lead hand pinky knuckle should feel as if it's almost like kind of rolling under and you're just pushing down and out against it. Like, so imagine like with your lead hand, it's almost like you're doing this, like push pulling a little bit, and then that feeling of the lead hand pinky kind of rolling under is giving you the bow that we need to keep the club face matching the spine angle here, or it's even almost slightly closed relative to the spine, okay? So that's when we start back and just pushing and going under a little bit right there. So it's like lead wrist is in flexion, trail hand is in extension, okay? When we go to a neutral grip, we're going to turn that lead hand a little bit more. Now the V is going to my trail ear. Trail hand's now going in between trail ear and trail shoulder. Now when I go back with this grip, that lead hand pinky knuckle, opposed to it feeling like it's rolling under, is going to feel like it slightly rolls upward, like this, as I'm pushing back. So I'm going to start back by pushing, and it's just going to roll just slightly. So when we get to the neutral grip, the face of the club here should be perfectly matching my spine angle, okay? So again, so when we go, again, just to recap that, there's just going to be a little bit of like clockwise rotation of the club when I go back with the neutral, but you're pushing and twisting together as a unit to get to that point. For the strong grip, we turn over to where we got the lead hand V at the trail ear. I'll be in between the trail ear and the trail shoulder, and then the trail hand is going to be pointed at the trail shoulder. And from here, we're going to add a little bit more of that rotation with the lead hand pinky knuckle rolling upward, and we're pushing to where then we're trying to get the toe a little bit more up.
Why do we want the toe more up?
Because basically when we think about the gear effect that's going to happen by turning our hands over on the club like this, when we if we didn't twist it, and let's say we did like the wheat grip move, we went under, that club face would get extremely shut and de-lofted, right? And getting into impact properly, you'd have to really go under to try to maintain the like dynamic loft of the club face in order to hit the ball in the air and not dig craters, right? So that's why with a strong grip, we let it twist open a little bit. So as we're coming in, then we can come in and support the heel, basically to where you can thump the trailing edge of the heel at impact, right? Because the heel has to lead no matter what. But the face angle, opposed to like with a wheat grip, it's going to be a little bit more de-lofted like this at impact with the heel leading the toe.
So you're using more of the leading edge opposed to like the trailing edge.
For the neutral grip, we're looking at basically like this. And then with the strong grip, it's going to look more like that.
Got it. And then the gear effect will make them
we'll let it
similar
rotate.
and square.
Yeah, so for
in
the
impact.
wheat grip, we get up to the top two and we'll have our bow, right? So we're going to keep that coming down. Then you're going to feel basically like that lead hand pinky knuckle, again, kind of rolling under, but you're pushing and holding it off. So there's going to be a little bit of a rotation here. Like it feels like you're almost holding like that pinky knuckle and letting it turn here to let the lead arm stop to where the club head can release.
It's like Morikawa.
Yeah, exactly. DJ, I mean, everybody's
DJ,
doing it.
yeah,
That has a weak grip. Ram too, and everybody. So neutral grip. We're back here again. Get the face like this. It's going to be a flat lead wrist at the top. Club face angle should be matching the back of the lead wrist. Then coming in, we're going to basically feel from here just a little bit of that lead hand pinky knuckle rolling under, pushing. Face is going to be back like perfectly matching, or like basically simulating the same position it was open here in the backswing. It's going to be closed that much coming through. Where with the wheat grip, it was going to be a little bit more de-lofted like this. Okay, so it'd be like that.
The strong grip.
Yeah, so for strong, you get those V's, that trail shoulder, so a little more rotation here. The top, little cup in the lead wrist. Face should be a little bit more open. The face is almost looking directly at me. If I
So
look
cup in the lead wrist is okay?
Cupped in the lead wrist is absolutely okay, and it's very important that we have that for a strong grip, because in the downswing, there is like a little bit, almost like as we push down and out against the handle from the top, like the lead hand will be like this, so it'll be cupped, okay, to pre-impact. And then when the lead wrist unhinges down, the lead wrist is relatively flat at impact, and then when it rehinges back up, it's going to have more of a cup back here. So you actually do achieve, in a sense, what would be considered a flat lead wrist at impact, but in the backswing, you need to get the cup, because that's going to allow you to hold the face open enough for that gear effect. If I have a strong grip, and let's say I do a neutral move, where I keep it a little more shut like this, now coming in, that face is really going to be wanting to turn down, right? So I would almost have to go like this underneath to try to save it.
Like Hovland.
Yeah. Or
Hovland
like
kind of
Arnold
does that,
Palmer.
right? Yeah,
You know,
right.
like this, to try to counteract that. So this is the way we're explaining this is for the proper gear effect, but also to properly keep the lead arm locked and properly connected to your body.
Because at the end of the day, you're swinging a cylinder. So
Right.
like the more you're on the side of that cylinder,
Yeah.
that's going to twist in a certain way, right?
Right. Yeah. So it's like when you're weaker and more on the left or lead side of the club, it's more of this under feeling, and then kind of keeping it like that, and then pushing down the line. Where with a neutral, it's gonna be a little bit more rotation, and then pushing down the line, and then with a strong, a little bit more twist, and then pushing down the line.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the move is exactly the same though. As far as like when you think about pushing, like trail hand's always pushing like this, going from like trail elbow goes from bent to extended.
Right.
Trail wrist stays bent.
Uh-huh.
The lead hand just again it has a little bit more of like this. You call it like a flexion roll underneath, like kind of feeling, because it's like this to get the stretch and the tautness that we want for the lock in the swing triangle.
Got it. Okay.
Where with the neutral, again, there's that little bit more of like lead hand knuckle feels like it's almost turning upward a little bit more.
Got
right?
it.
Opposed to under.
Got it.
And then when we go strong, it's like you're really exposing the lead hand pinky knuckle then.
Got
Like
it.
you almost turn it to the sky.
So-
So if we do it right out in front of us, it's like this for a weak, that for neutral, that for strong.
Got it.
Right. And that's where we should be at the takeaway, basically. And then we continue. So if it's weak, it's here. And then we go a little more like this. That's why the plane is more vertical, because of the flexion, right? And then if we go to the neutral here, there's going to be a little bit more twisting like that. So that's perfectly flat. But the club, you can see, opposed to being vertical, more like opposed to vertical, weak grip shaft angle will be about 10 degrees flatter than vertical. The neutral is about 20, and the strong's 30. So if we go to like the strong grip, get it here, it's like now my plane's gonna feel like it's back here.
In the most cup in the lead wrist.
Correct, right, like this, right, and the most cup with the trail wrist as well, which is again why we promote it, because it's like giving you the best holster, and just from the top of the swing,
What's the trail hand doing differently with each grip?
it's doing nothing. The only thing is it starts in a different position. So the trail hand starts from V pointing at like trail ear for a weak, in between trail ear and trail shoulder for neutral, and then at trail shoulder for strong. But once it starts here, it extends back the same way, stays cupped the same way coming down in extension, trail palm pushes to allow the trail arm to go from bent to straight into the ground, and then the trail wrist pushes down the line to support that as well. Like, so the lead hand is the only thing that really changes. Just the underflex, or a little bit more of the turning up with that. But so it's like pushing is always the thing though. The feeling of like getting the extension of the fingers and pushing down and out away, like
That's
our
that
beach ball
tautness
idea.
that we talk
right.
about.
Trying to push underneath and then push back underneath. And so if we blend that push with the different sets of the lead wrist, again, it's like push and flex under, push with a little bit of roll up, and then push with maximum roll up.
Gotcha.
Right.
And then that's again just changing the face dynamic a
Yeah,
little
so
bit.
it's like you go back to neutral. It's like I'll just do it with trail hand even. Here would be weak, neutral, strong.
Got it.
That's the different rotations here. So I mean that's it. That's what it breaks down to. So like with a weak grip, like we said earlier, from here there's not as much twisting of the club. It goes more vertical like this, just hinging. Where from the neutral grip here, it's going to be a little bit flatter, and then from the strong grip, the flattest.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
And from the top, people say, okay, if you get the face open, I know that it makes sense that the strong grip is going to help the gear effect. But what's really going to shallow the club and allow you to get the ball to go left it's getting the butt end of the club to work outward at the golf ball for the first move.
So
the
that's
club
what
can
controls
drop
the
down in
shallowing.
Transition, yes.
So that's what we call shallowing the golf
Right.
club, right?
Because when we
got
think
it.
about how
Okay.
the ball flies and curves, the path to face ratio is like standard is 2-to-1 for like a mid iron, meaning that the more I swing inside out, the more the ball will tend to go left. So like if I swing inside out 2 degrees and the face is open 1, there's going to be a low push draw. If I swing inside out 10 degrees and have the face open 5, it's going to be a push like hook more, right? Ball's going to start way out right, but come all the way back. So the idea is that from the top, if I like pull straight down the handle and the club head starts releasing early, I'm either going to slap hook it, like or smother it, right, low left, or hit a big slice, depending on how I connect with the quadrant of the ball, right? But if we get to the top with that strong grip, get that flat plane, get the butt end going out here first, if we just keep going, the longer you go, the more of a whip effect you have at the bottom, and that's actually what makes the ball draw. But people have a tendency of wanting to, like if they open it up, they think close right from the top. So they like immediately start to like roll or like untwist the club, right? They can get the face to the ball like that, which then causes an out-in path. That's what actually makes the ball go right.
Got it.
So we want to make sure that we get the twist back here and get the butt end going more out. And you can see how the club just naturally starts to drop.
So basically, that's why I like the strong grip, because when you get like up to the top,
Yeah.
you're basically creating like a wall that
Right.
prevents the club from going over.
Right, like
right?
so if I get my lead wrist up and pushing back down out in the handle, lead arm now is like a brace, and then that helps you when you release to keep you in tilt and to allow yourself to properly rehinge when you go up, right?
Gotcha.
Whereas opposed to if you're coming over the top, then you're going to be looking like the chicken winger, right? And you're swinging more across your body like this,
Gotcha.
right?
All right, cool.
Yeah.